People who that lost 30-50 pounds. What was the toughest part of the journey? Why? The toughest part for many was staying committed when progress slowed down and old habits called. Not giving up after a night of binging or defeat. The secret is to pretend it never happened the next morning and start anew. It feels like you've undone all your progress in one night, but it's just not true. Accepting that it was a lifestyle change and not a diet. I lost 70 lb 15 or so years ago and have kept it off by changing my relationship with food and working out at least 5x week. Currently about 37 pounds down and still going. The biggest thing for me is the mental hurdle of fluctuating the same 2-3 pounds for a few weeks at a time before losing. Just seems to be how my body works. I don't lose anything for about 3-4 weeks, then drop about 7-10 pounds in a week's time. Getting used to not eating. We develop this habit of stuffing ourselves until we're full at every meal. You have to learn to eat a reasonably sized portion and then stop. At first it was hard, but after a while I felt totally fine, and the thought of eating a mountain of food now makes me feel kinda sick to my stomach. Learning to distinguish between hungry and bored. It was wild for me to realize just how much I was snacking to fill time rather than because I was actually hungry. Upkeeping social life, drinking and eating out can be diet killers. Luckily I have good friends that are flexible. Being cold all the time. Lost 100, now am cold all the time. Most annoying part now is that my mother-in-law says I look like shit. She bitched when I was 235. I'm 129 now, which is a normal healthy weight at 5'5", and now she says I look anorexic. So frustrating. I don't comment on the 50 pounds she's gained in the last year. I'm not rude. But she thinks it's okay to comment on my weight. I'm too big or too small, it's never the right weight to her. Getting into the right headspace to convince myself that I'm really going to do this, and that I'm going to see it to the end. It's been tough adjusting to the new aches, pains, and general soreness. Nobody talks about how hard it is mentally and physically to lose a lot of weight when you're older. It's not all feel-good vibes like everyone claims. You don't always feel better. In some ways, I feel worse, but I'm trying to do it for my health. It's nice that I can fit in real clothes again. Sex life has improved tremendously. I do have more flexibility and energy. But the pain in my joints is something else. And I'm always cold. I wake up shivering at night because I'm always cold. My breathing has not improved either. Still need that damn inhaler. Changing my eating habits. Like significantly cutting down on soda and not eating late at night went from 186 to 150-ish in about 3 months. I was preparing for a jiu-jitsu competition, so it was helpful to have a goal to keep me motivated. Currently down 35. Weight loss happened for me when I felt hungry, and pretty much only when I felt hungry. Hawk can be taxing. Very honest calorie counting for me was needed, because there are a lot of hidden calories you wouldn't expect. Olive oil is a huge culprit here. But other than that, food is just really good. Eating an egg white burrito will make you feel better and add to your goals, but chocolate chip pancakes and bacon are goddamn delicious, and your brain is wired to want salt, fat, and sugar. It takes willpower that is much easier on some days than it is on others. Focusing on eating right, you can't outrun a bad diet. I'm looking at you, chocolate chip cookies and milk. Staying consistent. Not letting a cheat day turn into 2. I didn't and still don't calorie count. Try and eat good and keep moving. Moss don't grow on a rolling stone. Keeping it off. It's not too hard to lose weight if you just get used to being hungry for a couple hours each day by eating less. It's much harder when your life changes and you can't focus on it as much. After creating a habit of diet and exercise, the hardest part is visiting family friends who may think they are helping, or at worst don't care and pressure you. I lost 45 pounds before my wedding, and visiting my family while dieting was rough. There are a lot of stories, but the worst was family dinner. I would finish my portion quickly and back my chair 3 feet away from the table. I love my mom's cooking, so I needed it out of arm's reach. She would see my empty plate and offer more food and fill my plate without waiting for me to reply. I had to stop her and earnestly say that I was done eating, and she was not helping me by offering me more food. No jokes, no teasing, no fun way to get the point across. It felt bad because I could tell she was hurt by what I said, but it was the best option in order to keep my diet on track. There will be times where friends and family won't take your diet as seriously as you, and you may have to be the asshole to stay on track. What worked for me was incorporating movement more into my daily life. I have never been disciplined enough to go to the gym regularly, so that was out. I didn't want to lose weight in a way that I'd have put it back on once I reached my goal and changed how I behaved. So instead I decided to walk home from work every day. I live in a city with public transportation, so I take transit in the morning and walk home, which took about an hour. I did that every day except when it was raining, and the weight just melted off. I changed no other behavior except taking some longer walks on the weekend. But that was it. Walking built into my routine in a way that didn't affect when I woke up, went to bed, how I socialized, or with whom. I didn't even have to run or go to the gym one time and I lost 60 pounds. It was only like 200 calories per walk, but that was still coming out to being like 3-5 pounds a month, and since it was only a low-intensity walk, my body never needed extra food to recover. First few weeks when you're establishing the habit. Eventually, it doesn't take much willpower anymore and unhealthy food starts to seem gross. The lingering eating disorder,